Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to welcome Honorable FCPA Dr. Wycliffe Oparanya, Kenya's Cabinet Secretary for Cooperatives and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development to the Global Solutions Summit. With his experience in both the public and the private sector, and his deep commitment to inclusive economic growth, he is a driving force in Kenya's economic and governance landscape, with a large impact and insight in African and international policymaking. We are delighted to have you join us today for a fireside chat for an interview on enhancing financial inclusion and promoting the growth of MSMEs to drive economic transformation. Please join me in warmly welcoming His Excellency Oparanya, as well as our colleague Declan Curry, to the stage, who will facilitate the conversation.
Suzanne, thank you very much. Dr. Oparanya, welcome to our stage. We are honored by your presence here today. Dr. Oparanya is a distinguished and long-serving politician and public servant in Kenya. He's been a member of parliament, a county governor, a senior party figure, and we're going to talk to him about the importance of micro, small and medium-sized enterprises as essential pillars of economic transformation, enhancing financial inclusion and strengthening sustainable trade in globally competitive markets. Dr. Oparanya, give me some examples of these small, medium-sized micro businesses in Kenya that are making such a difference. Describe one or two that you're familiar with.
First of all, thank you very much for welcoming me and inviting me to this meeting of this forum. I'm very delighted as a country, and I want to take this opportunity to also send the apology of my president, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto, who was initially invited to be here. Unfortunately, could not make it because of other prior state commitments, and he directed me to come here and represent him in this particular meeting. Kenya is going through an economic transformation, and we have 5 pillars for transforming our economy. Bottoms up economic transformation agenda. And the 5 pillars are agriculture, housing, universal health care, digital economy, and MSME. And that's why I'm here to talk on MSME, because that's one of our critical focus area to transform our economy. In Kenya, and I happen to have come, there is a gentleman that I came with, Jacob. I don't know if Jacob is within this conference. He has come up with a digital solution to agriculture, and is in partnership 2 youth who have just come out of university. They have a digital solution for agriculture where the equipment is put in any area of agriculture. And after some time, that particular equipment will be able to sample out what type of soil is it, what crop can do here, what deficiency is in the soil, and what can do well, what is the solution, what type of manure or fertilizer is required, what type of chemicals are required. And I think it is the only technology in agriculture that we have in our country. The gadget is imported The gadget itself is imported from Japan, but the casings and so on are done locally in Kenya. I think that's a very good innovative by two university students who have just come out of university, an idea that came to them when they were still at the university.
And that is such a good example.
It's a very good example.
It's a great example because
it's a great example that we have, and the gentleman was invited here. I've just been with him the last 30 minutes. I don't know why he's not here. And I think it's important that if he reappears here, you give him a chance to just tell you what he's doing is a great job, and we are committed as government to support him to scale up through the cooperative movement. The second one is the youth who have come together to actually recycle waste into generation of electricity, and then what remains as a waste is now converted into fertilizer for agricultural produce, because agriculture is our mainstay. So most of the MSMEs are within the agriculture sector, or the ones that are doing well, because that is the mainstay of our economy. The two are good examples that I can give before here.
Thank you, sir. And they are excellent examples because they are dealing with an important issue right now.
Yeah.
And it is a solution that has come from your people directly. How is, if I could just point out that your microphone is slipping ever so slightly, that's fine.
Okay.
How is the government of Kenya supporting micro, small, and medium-sized businesses like this, in particular, their access to finance?
Let me admit here that before these micro, small enterprises were scattered all over the government ministries. Some were under the Ministry of Agriculture, some were under the Ministry of Youth and Sports, some were in the Ministry of Trade, and some were in the Ministry of Labor. Fortunately, after the government came into power, the president came up and thought this was a proper area for focus for economic transformation, and he decided that these MSMEs must be put in one ministry. And that's why they were put in the Ministry of Cooperatives, because also cooperatives means that putting this MSME together for economies of scale. Now, the government, because of that, has come up with quite a number of initiatives. One of the major issues that is a problem to MSME is finance. So government has come up with clear financial intervention, and the one of it is the Youth Enterprise Fund that targets specifically to youth enterprises. The second one is the Women Entrepreneurship Fund that also targets women specifically. And even if you are a youth, but you are within the women bracket, you have access to the fund. And there is one that now lately we have started as a government in last year in November, what is called Hustler Fund for the hustlers, people at the lowest economic pyramid. The Hustler Fund is a digital fund where the youth can access the fund through star 2544 hash on your mobile phone. You are able to access that, And it is able to give you as low as 100 Kenya shillings, which is $1, up to 150,000 Kenya shillings. You can borrow that on a daily basis, even for your lunch. You can borrow for your lunch when you are working, when you have a day's work. You borrow for your lunch, you have your lunch, and in the evening, when you are paid, you are able to pay back. But you have up to 150,000 to borrow for small intervention, especially small businesses, paying salaries, paying utilities, and within 30 days you are able to pay back with a low interest rate of 8% per annum. So you can imagine that has transformed that particular sector, because at the moment, 20 million Kenyans have accessed that fund, and they have been able to have a turnover of 60 billion Kenya shillings, which is about 150 million US dollars.
So this has provided finance for a group of people who may not have been able to access it.
Yeah, that has been very critical.
And how is your government supporting? Carry on.
And the second one, after that, because this is a new environment, the ministry or the government has come up with a startup bill. A startup bill is now going to give guidelines on how these young people can start their business. So it will give clear policies to these enterprises. It will also give a legal legislative framework for the young people who are coming up with small business, how they will access finance, how they will access markets in case of a product that they want to sell, how their skills are improved. And in fact, we have come up with entrepreneurship training for all of them, and this entrepreneurship are anchored on few universities where these young people can go for training, irrespective of their education, whether you are a primary school dropout, whether you are secondary, whether you are university, you go through that training, and after that you are free to access finance through either West of our Youth Fund, Women Fund, and the Hustler Fund for you to start your own business. And then lastly, we have also partnered with the World Bank to come up with specific interventions where we are going to train about 1 million youths in 5 years into entrepreneurship and give them grants of up to about 5,000 US dollars to start business as individual or as a cohort within that training framework where they can do business. Or secondly, also another funding where we encourage the youth to go into manufacturing. So we support them to acquire necessary equipment for value addition, where they will get a grant from the government of 70% of the amount of the equipment, cost of the equipment, and 30% they will pay over a period of 5 years.
My apologies for cutting in earlier. You answered the question that I was going to ask.
Yes.
Excellent foresight.
Yeah.
What we are hearing from you, sir, are examples of local initiatives creating opportunity that are supported by national government, and there is also a role there for major global organizations. You mentioned the World Bank in your answer. And it strikes me, sir, in our conversations in this room this morning, we discussed the importance of grassroots solutions, bottom-up solutions. And this is what your government is doing.
Yes.
and it is working.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, this is something that we started 2 years ago in terms of training. Now we are able to get the benefits, evaluate the benefits maybe at the end of this year. And by next year, we are going actually to scale up. As I've said, the World Bank program will take 10 years, 5 years, starting from last year, and definitely after 5 years, involving 1 million youth. That's a huge number that will actually bring change.
It must be very satisfying, very pleasing as a minister that you can say, we have achieved this success, we have made a difference
Yeah,
to economic
of course.
lives.
Of course, it is because from where you came from. Uh, uh, you people who might know Kenya, we had youth uprising last year. They came to the streets complaining that the government was not doing much to take care of them, and that's why His Excellency the President formed a broad-based government where quite a number of the opposition figures were brought in. Now we have a broad-based government, and our focus is to help the youth, and we have a lot of initiatives. What I am mentioning are just a few ones, because we have two levels of government, the national government and the county governments. The county government have also their local specific initiative to see that the youth are looked after, and as a national government, we do the coordination. But we have also national government initiatives, like the ones I have just mentioned.
Dr. Oparanya, I want to thank you for sharing these wonderful examples with us and for joining us in our discussion here at Global Solutions. We are honoured by your presence, and I know that our audience would like to thank you for being here with us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Asante sana, Your Excellency, and thanks also to Declan Curry and to all of you for your attention. I will give you and all of us a very short break to walk you, Your Excellency, out, and also to give you time to choose your next session. Up here on this stage, when we've got the table back in, there will be a very interesting and relevant panel on just energy transition, really responding to a lot of what we heard this morning about SDG architecture from Ala Mourabit. And also there's 2 more sessions starting in a bit in the Global Solutions Dialogues and the forum and the deep dives next door. So choose wisely, find yourself a round table or a cup of coffee, and thanks again for this very insightful conversation. See you soon.